Welcome to the Sinner and the Saint. I'm Alyssa Bell.
And I'm Allison Kane.
You know how they say, or they'll ask you, who do you want to be when you grow up? Or who's your mentor?
Uh-huh.
I am 51 and I just found one.
Okay, who?
I don't really know her name.
Okay.
But what happened?
What happened was
I was with my mother-in-law at her living situation. And
gosh, this gets, I don't know her name, the living situation.
At her apartment. And they were having craft club, okay?
Oh, right.
And so Faye, my mother-in-law, is quite like the superstar there. So the craft club people want to talk to Faye. And so Faye was moving to Vegas. And so they're all talking about, oh my gosh, you're moving to Vegas. And this lady pipes up and her hair was like a beautiful auburn. I'm not sure if it was a wig or if she had her hair. I don't know. She was in her 80s and she said, Vegas? I want to go to Vegas. And Faye said, well, you got to pack. She goes, I don't need luggage, girl. I'm going to get there and buy me some gold hot pants.
My gosh.
And all I could think of was, you are so fun at 80.
Wow.
How come you were not my best friend growing up?
Wow. That is awesome.
I'm going to get me some gold hot
And the
pants.
way she says it, it's as if she knows exactly where to go to shop for.
Yes.
Those gold hot pants.
Yes.
She's on a mission.
So wherever you are, whatever your name is, I aspire to be you.
Oh, I hope she gets to take a trip to Vegas to visit Faye.
With her gold hot pants.
And get some gold hot pants. If she doesn't already own them, I bet she can find them there.
I did tell Faye, I'm like, maybe I'll send you some gold hot pants.
She might wear them.
That's right. That's right.
I love it. Well, let's see how I can tie that into today's verses. I think I can do it because you're talking about people that you look up to.
Yes.
All right. I like it. So that is kind of what we are always looking up to Jesus.
Oh, nice.
That's all I got, people. That's all I got.
I was going to say we should just call it Hot Pants of Jesus.
Yeah, that was cute.
That's right.
Okay, we can get tears and hot pants.
There you go. Oh.
Well, last week we alluded to Luke 7 and tears. Jesus does a miracle. Let me just set the scene for Luke 7 without just reading all the verses and all that. So you've got these two processions that are going to meet at the city gate. Okay, you've got one moving into the village. And that's Jesus and his disciples and a large crowd. There's energy and excitement. And it's the living following the living. But then you've got this other group that's moving out. And they're passing at the city gate, essentially. But you've got a grieving mother mourning her only son in a coffin. Just the finality of it, right? Carrying him out of their home place and out to be buried outside. But they cross paths almost, at the city gate. Now, she's so busy grieving.
Right.
She's not noticing anybody else. Like, who knows?
She's within herself the moment. God bless her.
Yeah. And Luke doesn't say that Jesus saw the crowd or the coffin or the procession, but he does say Jesus saw her. And I love that part. I love that part a lot. The widow, he saw her, singular, not plural, but he saw her. And let's keep in mind a little backstory on this widow. She'd already lost her husband. Mm-hmm. So she's a widow. She had one son. And back then in Jewish culture, this was not like losing all of your menfolk, for lack of a more southern term. It wasn't just like an emotional devastation. It was a social annihilation back then.
Wow.
Because without, and this is kind of biblical, you see in other stories, but without a male like protector, head of the family, she was economically going to be destitute now. No one to basically take care of her. She's going to be socially invisible as a widow. That's why the Bible says, like, take care of the widows, because there's just nobody doing it. And super vulnerable without a male protecting her. And so she was not only losing her son and grieving over his death, but every thread of security.
her entire future.
Her entire
is
future.
Up in the air.
Yes.
Oh, have you ever been there before?
Girl, it feels like that.
Lord.
You know,
yes.
probably not in that tangible, exact way, but where it feels like every single bit. But I just love how Jesus saw all of that in one look. Because that's our God, right? So I think that there's the word that changed everything for me was that his heart broke for her. And it's, okay, I'm going to butcher this, but it's eusblotnos.
That's the word
Like for
Hebrew?
he saw her. Yes. So when Luke uses that word, he's saying that something moved Jesus on such a level. It was so deep. It wasn't a reasoned response. Like, oh, but he saw her and he had this visceral reaction to her grief.
Ooh.
We've all probably like been there, like when something's happened, like there's this full body reaction.
It makes me wonder, Jesus knowing all,
Yeah.
could imagine what his mother would be like just a few years later.
Oh,
Ooh.
golly, yeah.
Yikes.
Imagining that for her, for Mary.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, the forethought. I mean, if anybody's going to have it, Jesus was.
Right.
So Jesus wasn't planning a miracle when he's walking in to this city.
Right.
It's like he was moved first by seeing her, and the miracle came as a result of that. But he says to her, don't weep. Is that exactly, what does he say? He says, yeah, don't weep. As soon as the Lord saw her, he felt compassion for her, and he said, don't weep. And so at first you can be like, well, why is he telling her not to cry? Like,
right.
That's my kind of first question.
My first reaction is imagining her in the worst moment of her life, and this rando comes up and says, don't weep.
Don't weep. You're like, I'm going to get ready to punch you in the face.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. And I think it's important to point out, Jesus isn't trying to dismiss her grief here. But because Jesus is Jesus, he's not minimizing what she feels at all. We obviously know that because of this word, eusblotnos. Like, he's had this visceral reaction to her grief. So he's not minimizing it. But instead, Jesus is speaking from a place of already knowing what he is going to do. Mm-hmm. And in that sense, his words are so tender. Like, don't weep. Like, good stuff is coming.
Yeah.
Don't cry not because your grief is wrong, not because I'm here and I've seen you, but because of, like, I'm here, I've seen you, something's going to change. And I just love that idea of Jesus looking at us like that sometimes and saying in those moments, like you were like, have you ever felt like that?
Yeah.
And Jesus looking at us and saying, don't weep.
Does it say how the mother responds?
It doesn't. We don't know. Let's see. Then he came to the stretcher. It basically he says, don't weep. And then he came to the stretcher, and those carrying it stood still. And Jesus said, young man, listen, get up. The dead man immediately sat up and began talking. And Jesus presented him to his mother.
Oh my God.
So she didn't really have
a whole lot of
time to process all that. Jesus is like on it. And so I call this like the uninvited miracle or unrequested miracle, which I really feel as if this is the most interesting detail of the whole story. Because so often we see in every other healing in the Gospels, there's some sort of approach to the Lord, to Jesus, right? Someone's reaching for his cloak. Someone's crying out. Someone's sending word for Jesus.
Right. Friends are dropping him down from the roof.
Right. But here, Jesus like crosses the distance entirely. Like, on his own initiative. She doesn't seek him out.
Literally met her where she was.
Yes, moved by just what he saw and what he felt, all because of who he is. Because she didn't ask. I mean, was she in just such a state of grief? Did she not know who Jesus was? Did she just not look up because of her black veil and she couldn't see him?
I mean, and there was probably a crowd around her holding her up.
And definitely a crowd around Jesus.
But then you add the fact that not all the Jewish people believed in him. So would she have even
so true
asked?
Yeah. Like, she didn't even profess her faith.
Right.
She said, him.
It doesn't sound like she said anything.
No. Like some people profess their faith, or like there's like nothing. No falling at his feet. I mean, she just wasn't pursuing him at all. And I also love that.
Yes.
Because even when we're not pursuing him, he still sees us.
And pursues us. And does miracles for us. And heals.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yes.
And it's such a picture of who he is, his character. I mean, she didn't even, like, I don't know. His grace is just unbelievable. So I thought we'd talk a little bit about Jesus and all this. Like, what is this? What do we take? Those are a few takeaways, but let's flip it and think about, like, what does this teach us about Jesus and his character? Like, what can we hold on to?
I love that.
This teaches us a lot, and that's the beauty of reading scripture. Because what we talk about all the time, like, you truly get to know who God's character is and that his promises are real. And so what does this reveal to us about Jesus? And I think the first thing is he notices all of us. It doesn't matter. Like, are you seeking him? He still notices you. Yes or no? It doesn't matter. Are you joyful? Are you grieving? It doesn't matter. He notices you. Are you weeping? Are you singing? He notices you.
Right.
The crowd was large. The funeral procession was so public. But Jesus, there's so many people around, but Jesus saw her specifically, personally. And I just love that, that's how Jesus was when he walked. And that's how God is with each of us. He can see us, even with as many people as there are on this planet. He can see us individually and personally, even in the big, huge, giant world.
I think when you're saying these things, I have to go, hopefully you're thinking about your specific narrative that you've given to God/Jesus. Can I /God/Jesus?
Yeah,
okay,
sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sure.
Because he sees us, right? And I think that one sometimes we can kind of wrap our head around. But notice there was no precursor for him to engage with her and heal her son and do a miracle. He wasn't like, hey, do you believe in me? Do you know my name? Do you know?
Exactly.
Right? Do you know my story? What was your son doing that killed him? Was he behaving?
Yeah. And have you given your 10% to the church and volunteered recently?
Right. You didn't cuss today, did you?
None of that. He saw her.
He just saw her and had compassion and immediately went to heal. He didn't ask any questions. He didn't tell her to clean up. He didn't say, wipe your tears or I'm not going to. There was no, she couldn't do anything to undo what he did. And she couldn't do enough for him to come do it. It was on his own impulse that he did it.
Yep.
Right? Like, she didn't have to usher him in.
Because of his deep caring, like his love for his people.
But it's so different than what we often hear and feel.
Yes.
From the Christian community.
Absolutely. Which is why I think it's so hard for us to hold these. Like, how can that be if these are the people and this is their God? Because we are not God.
Right. That is so true. Thank goodness.
But I think that really flows well into like the second thing that I believe the story reveals about Jesus, and that he is moved before he acts. I mean, he sees us, and because of that, the miracle doesn't precede the compassion. Like, the compassion comes first from deep within him because of his love for us. And then the miracle flows from it. Like, I don't know. He doesn't, basically God does not act out of some sort of obligation to us. Trust me, it's not obligation. He acts out of love and compassion. And I think that, again, as you were saying, that's so countercultural. So, I mean, that is often not what we experience in life from other humans.
Correct. Like, don't even say church, period. It's just the entire world is not like that. And all we have to go by is what we've experienced in our own lives on the earth until we take time and sit with God. And then you feel like love and compassion.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times you have to think, okay, what does the world do? All right, Jesus does the opposite. You know, not with everyone, thankfully, but I think too, it shows us that he comes to us. Of course, he wants us to believe in him and to follow him, but it is not a prerequisite, like we were saying.
Well, I mean, there's that one verse that we always say, ask and you shall receive. You know, you have to invite Jesus. Jesus is not, or God is not pushy, and he's not. He's not a pushy God.
Right.
I don't know. Can I debate that? Maybe I can.
I don't know. He's a definite, he's persistent. He'll keep tapping.
Yeah, but you know, people will say, oh, God's not pushy. He's not going to bust his way into your life. And it's like, well, actually, I take that back.
Sometimes he does in certain situations. I think, that could be a whole podcast, actually. We should sit with that for a while and come back on that.
The pushiness of God?
The pushiness of God. Right. I just think, you know, there she was walking away from town, away from, you know, this light, basically walking out of the city, and he's walking towards her, and the initiative was all his. And that's just this beautiful picture of his grace, that we don't always come to him, whether it's because we're just too tired, like we're just so weary, or we're just so overcome with grief, or we're just stubborn. Like, I don't know. What's your answer, right? Or you've just been so hurt by people who call themselves, whatever it is. But he still sees us, and he still meets us. You know, those days when grief is just like so overwhelming, and I know, like, I'm at the bottom of the shower just like crying and water running over, like
there's no words.
Yeah. It's just like, that's all I got, God. I don't even know. And it's just like, he sees me, and I know that he does. And I think the last thing is, like, he restores. Now, I'm not saying he brings everybody back to life, okay? Because that's just not realistic. But here, I mean, the son was raised from the dead in this story, but the gift was to the mother. I mean, he was raised, great. He gets his life back, but really the gift was to the mother. And the miracle is relational, really to its core. Because what was broken wasn't just life, but like a bond of that mother's security, her whole life, her whole future, until she's called to heaven. And Jesus restored that. And so I think it looks different in how he restores for all of us. You know, learning to look at those little tiny things that happen to us in life. There's some really big things, but there's also some really small things that can happen that lead to this restoration. So I thought, like, okay, what's my question for myself as I process all of this? And I wrote down, is there a place in me that has accepted a loss as final?
Oh.
Something I've given up on or stopped asking for or about because it just feels done. The procession is just underway, right? It's just too late. And what would it look like or mean to me to let Jesus meet me in that place where I feel like all hope is lost? that person's never gonna, whatever it is, that person's never gonna come to the Lord. This person's never gonna be healed. There's never gonna be restoration here. I mean, just recently I was able to move, if y'all are just joining, I have a prayer wall in my pantry. It takes up a whole wall. And I use Post-it notes. One side's prayer requests, one is praises. I just was able to move a sticky note that has been on the prayer request side for 5 years.
Wow.
To the
praise.
Yeah, sure did. But so many times along the way, I will admit that I'd given up. And I'd stopped praying. And then I would just be reminded. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not giving up. God can still do this. And not because, you know, of anything I did per se, but just, I don't know. He saw me. He saw this person. I don't know. I don't know the answer. I just know that sometimes there are places in our lives and our hearts where we have accepted a loss as final.
Yeah, and God's just preparing the other person for the miracle.
And he's saying, don't weep.
Yeah.
This for 5 years, he's probably been saying to me, don't weep. Because he already saw the big picture. Not because he didn't want me to grieve it and pray for it, but like I just have thought about that so much. And, you know, I think the direction that we're walking doesn't determine whether Jesus can find us or not.
Oh, okay, girl.
Just, you know, wherever you are today, that's not determining where Jesus can find you. He already knows where, he doesn't even have to. He already knows where you are. And the unanswered miracle, strips away every transactional framework. Oh my gosh, that we really quietly attach to God's goodness, don't we?
Oh, 100%.
I mean, we can subtly believe without saying it that miracles flow to the spiritually prepared and to those who have prayed enough and that are just right and prayed just right and believed enough and position themselves, you know, correctly. And this widow, she dismantles all of that. Literally every single bit.
We know nothing about her.
No.
Except God saw her and he was moved to compassion
Yep.
and did a miracle.
And she didn't even ask.
She didn't even
She
ask.
had, maybe she prayed for her son not to die. Probably, she's a mom. But I'm pretty sure after she died, she gave up. Or he died, she gave up.
Right.
But she breaks through all of that transactional framework that we either create or we've learned, you know, in our years of the church, or people have imposed upon us that things have to be a certain way.
It's just bringing me to the story of Lazarus and how they did reach out to Jesus, and then Jesus was quote unquote late to their timing.
That's right.
And then he said something about them weeping also. He wept with compassion when he saw how sad they were.
Yeah.
And and they asked for him to come. He was like, meh.
Yeah, I hope that I haven't sat with this story in the Bible in a long time. And it was very encouraging. Like, I'm so glad you brought it up last podcast and referenced it, and we sort of stuck with it. I think there is so much for us to hold on to and to lean into when it comes to this story.
And I wonder if you're listening today, do you understand the compassion of God? Maybe this is the first time you heard that God's compassionate and you really thought that he was hellfire and brimstone, depending on what church you go to.
Yeah.
You can reference one of our previous podcasts about that.
Yes, exactly.
Church stereotypes. But I want you to sit with the points that she just made. And is that the God that you know? Or is that how you consider God? And if not, how can you reconcile that?
Yeah. And who told you that about God? And was it scripture?
Right. If it was,
because that's where we get the truth. Like, if we're looking to other people to teach us
even
how
a
God
pastor,
acts,
even a pastor.
It's just not going to happen. None of us are capable. But I do hope that this breaks down some walls and creates some space in your brain to do some extra thinking and sit with this story and read it for yourself. Anyway, next week we have a fun thing coming up.
Yeah, we do.
We're not even going to talk about it before I texted Melissa, sit with this phrase and pick a word, and let's each pick a word and not talk about it and share.
Oh, yeah.
So you know how those podcasts are. You never know what's going to happen. So you're definitely going to want to check in with us next week.
That's right.
In the meantime, we hope you'll sit with Luke 7, this story of the widow, and thanks for joining us this week on The Sinner and the Saint.